Is it the time slowly to start? So, welcome everybody to our event organized by the Kickstart HealthTech as a part of the program 2021. And my name is Elena Silyanova. I'm focus area, HealthTech actually, focus area lead at the Kickstart. And I need to say I see a lot of familiar faces today. So for those of you who've been already with us for quite a time during this active September, so you know what to expect from tonight, right? First of all, it will be a nice portion of brain food in the form of interesting presentations, talks, and insights from experts. And then apéro, a nice opportunity to network, to discuss, and actually reflect on what you will hear. For those of you who just joined us for the first time, first of all, welcome. And let me share a couple of words about Kickstart and about the background of these events. So we at Kickstart now are hosting our program, our yearly program, and this event is a part of our journey while this program. And usually while the program, together with our partners, experts, startups which are coming from all over the world, we are creating one big effort to explore opportunities for collaborations and how actually we can leverage here in Switzerland these opportunities to make human lives here in Switzerland healthier and better. So just to give you a little bit of understanding of the scale and actually the power of the program. During only the first week, there were more than 200 meetings and talks organized, and more than 50 were specific about health tech topics. We welcomed this year more than 50 startups, and 8 of such are in health tech cohort from 6 countries. And actually from this you can hear that you are today joining quite a passionate crowd about health tech and driving innovation. And as I mentioned, this event is a part of this journey together. And just a couple of words why we decided to go for this topic, scale up stories. So we all know that health tech is just booming. And every day, opening the news, we can read about great stories like this startup just raised X million. That one just launched a great collaboration which will completely change in a positive way patient experience. And the question is only one: how does it happen? And this event for you is the great opportunity to get different perspectives directly from experts, and I'm sure they will share some secrets today, because these are the people who are standing behind these such great stories. I will not tell you more, and I just hand over to Valentin, who will be our moderator for tonight.
Thank you so much, Elena. Thank you all very much for being here. Also really great to see a number of familiar faces. I've been told to use the microphone, even though I can hear and see you quite well, because we're recording the event tonight. My name is Valentin. I'm an expert and advisor for Kickstart. I'm also the founder of Peak Spirit, which helps innovators in the health tech space with commercial advisory, go-to-market, and scale-up. In my previous life, I'm a formally trained economist from University of Zurich. I've worked for 5 years in the United States in the pharma biotech sector, and I also shed a healthy amount of blood, sweat, and tears scaling a ETH medical device spin-off from 0 revenues to 3 million in sales, exit in 2016. And today the device is in 15 countries considered the standard of care. The introduction that you gave, Elena, was very inspiring. I will thus rush through my slides really quickly so we keep up on our promise not to cut the upload time. I like to typically start with this slide because very often I get asked by investors or entrepreneurs outside the health tech space, why do you guys always make it so complicated? Right, you have your reimbursement and your regulatory and your clinical, and it takes forever to bring an innovation to the market, and why don't you just focus on building a customer-centric business and scaling it up? And I typically try to respond with the following analogy. Imagine you go into a bar and you order a beer, and then somebody brings you a beer, and you pay the beer, and you go home, and then you put a rating on Google whether it was a good experience and whether the beer was any good, and you give from 1 to 5 stars. Now in health tech, all of these things are done by different people who don't talk to each other. So your experience is going to be more like you are told which bar to go to, somebody orders you a beer, somebody brings you a salad, you get invoiced for a steak, and at the end of the day your dog can rate the establishment based on the leftovers you bring home. And this might seem quite funny, but the problem is this. I'm sure in this room we could come up with several dozen of stories where improving patient outcome actually bankrupted the idea. Because we have no direct link between making patients better and saving lives and having a viable business model. And that's a tremendous inhibitor to innovation in this space. We need to, together as an ecosystem, help innovators and innovation manage this balancing act of keeping our innovative power about improving outcomes, making clinicians' lives easier, and leading to more healthy lives, which is what inspires us all, I think, and at the same time making sure we do it in a sustainable way commercially, because the healthcare system is always scarce of resources, and especially financial resources. Also, you'd think if it's so difficult, why is there so much competition? It's quite crazy, right? Every 6 minutes there's a new app, a new medical app being uploaded to the Apple or Google Play Store. And these are astonishing figures, and we all trying to navigate this space. I have barely ever come across a single project that was completely unique. I mean, it's like you come across a project and you dig deeper and you find that there are probably 20 or 30 groups worldwide working on the same value proposition. So why do we fight such an uphill battle? Well, I think, Eleanor, you said it beautifully, I don't need to add to that. But me, as a passionate mountaineer and a proud member of the Swiss Alpine Club, I also like to add this. This is an awesome challenge, right? This is a really cool challenge. If you want to be really challenged, make sure you go and take up use cases and projects in health tech and help navigate this tremendously complicated but also awesome journey of innovation. What I do believe that together as an ecosystem, we need to create more links and we need to equip innovation better. This is my last slide. Why is Goliath here? Because when we want to we are all sort of up against Goliath, right? Goliath is the status quo of healthcare, the current standard of care, all the processes, all the red tape, all the reimbursement systems at the current budgets, and so on and so forth. And you don't win a fight against Goliath by having the biggest sword. You win a fight against Goliath how? Sorry?
David is beating Goliath.
Yes, are you David? Well, nice to meet you. Well, I've heard flip-flop suggested at this point, but I think we all know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about slingshots. Slingshots are a really powerful but very small and precise instrument. And so I'm really excited that today we have 3 people who have found slingshots on how to do this commercialization in health tech innovation successfully. We have Alex connected, he's the co-founder of OneDoc. He will introduce himself in a second, from Geneva. We have Richard Etter, who is an experienced health tech entrepreneur, also really experienced in how to get health tech innovation reimbursed from payers. And we have Cordelia from the Diabetes Zentrum Bern, which is a global innovation center augmenting research and innovation in the diabetes space and also investing in startups. And so with that, I'm very happy to give over to Alex, connected from Geneva, co-founder of OneDoc.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alex. So I'm CTO and co-founder of OneDoc. So today, I will be talking about the OneDoc success story through some real case examples. So I need to share the slides, 1 second. present. Can you all see the slides? Yeah, it looks good. Okay. So for those of you who may not know what OneDoc is, so it's the first Swiss online booking platform for medical appointments. So it's the go-to place for patients who want to find a nearby doctor, dentist, or therapist and book an appointment online in a few clicks. So today we're a team of 25 young and motivated people distributed across Geneva and Zurich. We have a bit more than 4,000 health professionals who basically are our customers. A bit less than 2 million patients registered, and a bit more than 2 million visitors monthly, on our platform. So how did we get there? So first, we're a small company, a fast-paced startup. We don't have too many processes, and this allows us to react fast, to move fast, to be really agile. Second, I would like to emphasize the fact that we have a great team of motivated people who love to innovate. So let's take a concrete example. So I guess you all remember the first lockdown announcement from the authorities in March 2020, where basically hospitals, clinics, medical practices, doctors could remain open, but had to postpone any non-urgent treatments or operations. And this basically had a huge impact. So a doctor who was usually seeing about 30 patients per day could only see 7. And on OneDoc, we have noticed that the booking of new appointments dropped by 90%, 90. So this has been very bad for us. Some of our customers wanted to stop or pause their subscription because they could no longer benefit from the service that they were paying for, at least not fully. So we had to react, and we had to react really quickly. So on the next day, we decided to develop our video consultation module, which would allow doctors, therapists to consult remotely via video. So in 7 days, with 13%, because at that time we were 13, we managed to define the functional needs, to develop the solution, test it, make sure the security was perfect, prepare all the communication, the marketing that goes along with it, and launch. So basically, the day after, we went live. So this has been this solution has received immediately a lot of success. Our customers were extremely happy that in such a short period of time, we were able to provide them with a solution that could allow them to continue treating patients as best as possible. And today, the solution is still being used. We have about more than 400 healthcare professionals using it on a daily basis. And we have so far had more than 50K bookings for video consultations on OneDoc. So I can give you another example of a quick adaptation that we've made, perhaps a bit more famous now, is of course the COVID vaccination. So back in December 2020, there weren't many details or information about what would happen, how vaccination would take place, and even less so technical solutions. So we saw a big opportunity there and also a great challenge to to try and help find a solution and a technical solution to this problem to help make it simpler for this process to happen. So we seized this opportunity, and back in December, we decided to shift everything, all the efforts, to this new vaccination module, which we developed in 2 weeks with the help of a partner, and which is now used in 20 cantons in Switzerland. And this has been a great success, and it still is a great success today, as vaccination is not over and is still being used a lot. So that's what I wanted to say. I thank you for your attention, and I remain available if you have any questions.
I would like to ask you one or two questions, and maybe people from the audience are more than welcome to ask questions as well. The first one is, you were one of the first health tech startups in our first year at Kickstart who successfully managed to get a POC with the largest healthcare provider in Switzerland, MedBase. But you were able to successfully close the POC with MedBase, and you also were able now to get the Department of Health, Federal Department of Health as a main client. Can you give recommendations on how to navigate such large accounts, and what is the recipe for success to successfully close a POC with a large corporate for startups in the health tech space?
Sure. So first, I want to say that size does not matter. It's not because you're a small company that you cannot have an impact. On the contrary, because if you take large corporations like MedBase, it's a big machine. Huh? It tends to move slowly. There usually are lots of layers and processes, and it's easier for smaller and more agile company to make an impact and bring value. Second, I would say that it's important to listen to your clients and partners, because they usually hold the keys to make you move forward, basically. And last but not least, I think it's important you must dare to see beyond the original plans. Be ready to shift priorities when needed.
Thank you very much. And one last question. How do you prioritize between organic sales growth and large accounts?
At OneDoc, it's not that of an issue, because OneDoc is a platform. Huh? It's one product that can be applied to smaller but also bigger groups. So usually when we work on the platform, we deploy all efforts to maintain this product to benefit everyone. So then, of course, if you have to make decisions, then we usually work on things that can bring as much value as possible to as many customers as possible and as quickly as possible. So that would be what we do.
Question is, with Microsoft and other tech giants really pushing into healthcare and in some of the verticals that or revenue streams that are kind of your core segment, how do you position OneDoc vis-a-vis the tech giants, and how do you view this market in the medium to long term?
For us, what is really important and what has a lot of impact on customers is really the fact of being Swiss-made. So OneDoc is a 100% Swiss company. All development is done in Switzerland. Everything, all the data is hosted in Switzerland and encrypted. So this is a great advantage that we have over those international companies. We have a local team. We can easily go visit their offices, the center, the hospitals, discuss with them, and so this is really the value we add.
Thank you very much. Are there other questions from the audience? Yes, please.
Hi, thanks for your presentation. My name is Yvonne from Sanitas, and my question would be, when you had the plan in March last year to have this new video consultation, how did you gain trust from the doctors and then in the end from the patients to share such sensitive and also private data through your platform? do you have any kind of certificate, or yeah, what was your journey there?
Mm-hmm. So it's a bit related to what I said before. So first, we're a Swiss company. We advertised this to them. All the data is hosted in Switzerland, and everything is encrypted in transit and also at rest. And also we explained to them how it worked, basically. And how it works is pretty easy. The connection, when there's the video and sound connection, we say peer-to-peer. So meaning that once the connection is established, the doctor is talking directly to the patient. There is no in-between. The data flows encrypted directly between the two. Nobody can listen or eavesdrop. And once you explain how it works to them, then they usually understand and can easily trust you more easily.
Thank you, Alex. Maybe for time's sake, I would say let's move quickly to Richard, who's an experienced digital health entrepreneur, and I'll leave you with the honor of introducing yourself, if that works for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Valentin.
Welcome.
So it's actually very nice to be in front of an audience again and been the same with so many people. I'm not going to disappear suddenly. I'm not going to be muted, so this is actually nice.
Don't have to unmute yourself.
Yes, exactly, yeah. Unless you do, because I talk too long. All right, yeah, next slide, please. Oh, the clicker is there, yes. Yeah. Not long anymore. So, okay, so today I'd like to talk about how to get digital health reimbursed. As a startup, this is always one of the revenue streams you can tap into. Today I would like to share some learning, what works, what doesn't work. I'm an entrepreneur, so I have a background in consulting. I've also been responsible for a digital transformation of a Swiss health insurer, but then I built up 2 digital health startups. I quickly would like to introduce you to them, since they're actually nice illustrative cases on how to do it. So first one was, I founded that 2014 and led it as CEO to profitability. It's a second opinion platform. So this enables actually a patient before they undergo surgery to get within 10 days from the best doctors in Switzerland an independent medical second opinion. And actually it's fully reimbursed by Swiss healthcare insurers. Second company I built up, and I've been focused on that for the past 2.5 years, was Clinical. So this is in the area of mental health. So this is a company that visualizes mental disorders. It's actually a SaaS solution for practices, for clinics, and they use it every day in order to better diagnose their patients. And also this solution is fully reimbursed by actually all health insurers in Switzerland. When we talk about reimbursement, there's actually 4 key elements of it to take into account. And I would like to quickly go through them and illustrate it with the 2 companies I've founded. So first one is then, it's important to show clinical evidence. It's important to show traction. It's key to have strong health economics. And finally, it's absolutely key to go for the right reimbursement model when doing this. So showing clinical evidence. The key thing is actually to show clinical evidence early. This is an absolute requirement in order to get reimbursement. And obviously you cannot just wait until you have completed your RCT study. So you need to start right away and early. So at Clinical, for example, we did actually all of that and more right from the beginning. And then quarter by quarter, we built evidence, and we're able to show more and more evidence until actually it was a strong, convincing case that this actually works clinically. Because what companies at this stage need to do is to actually show that this works from a clinical perspective, that the outcome is there. It's not just that the product works, you have users and so much, it really needs to provide a clinical benefit. Second one is you need to have traction, you need to be able to show it. I've been in many meetings when deals were made between a startup and an insurance company, and the startups thought like once I signed the reimbursement deal, we have massive traction. On the other hand, the insurance company was super happy with their low frequency, low touch insurance product, sometimes a bit boring, and they thought like finally we have like a nice novel solution and it's going to take off and everyone will be happy, but this is just not the case. Usually when you sign that deal, nothing happens, and then the actual real work starts. You're nodding here, so I guess you had such an experience as well. So what you really need to have, like as a digital health startup, is a significant user base and strong customer engagement KPIs. People must actually love it and use it on a regular basis, and on top of that you should have at least one working acquisition channel. And this is kind of the precondition to then use reimbursement as a multiplier on top of that. Because the insurance company in the beginning, they're not always very good in actually getting you traction or actually referring to you or just bringing your users. You need to bring the users, and then you actually turbocharge it with making it free or subsidized by actually enabling the reimbursement. And it's key also to work closely with insurance companies to optimize each channel over many months in order to actually make them strong channels, so then actually you're scaling your business by having reimbursement. Third one is you need to show strong health economics. So the question is, how does the product actually save insurers money? There's always a financial case. It's their duty to also be cost effective, and it's key that this is actually simple, you can prove it, and it's easy to understand. In the terms of my first company, the second opinion platform, this was very easy to understand. Every third second opinion led to a surgery that was prevented. The way this happened is every third second opinion actually led to a person deciding not to do it because the second opinion doctor said it's actually not required, you can do it in the conservative way. So this is very easy to understand. You don't need 3 flip charts, a PhD, or like long explanations. You get it. And that just means as an insurance company, pay as many second opinions as possible because you get more out of it than you're putting in. And this is usually kind of the health economics that are strong. And what we did in the beginning is we made the product for free. We did a couple of 100 second opinions, so we had own data to prove it. And then with that proof, went to the insurance companies and then were able to actually to sign the deals. Fourth one is, and final one is, choose the right reimbursement model. This is absolutely key, since actually it drives your market size, which use cases you can actually apply, and also what pricing you can ask for, and also heavily impacts your timeline. And there's actually many ways also in Switzerland to have reimbursement. There's marketing, sales, and IT budget. Here, beware, this is like very easy to get, but often, you know, it's not very long lasting and it's actually too limited, and it's not going to be sustainable. So the other two, actually, you map it to the basic insurance, where you have the largest market size, or you actually go for the additional insurance, which is more flexible, also in terms of financing digital health, but it's also more fragmented. And time now is not, sufficient to run through all the different models here. I mean, if you're interested, feel free to reach out to me and we can go through those models. Maybe one key aspect towards it is, if you're in the basic insurance, you really have like almost everybody which is insured at that insurer, which is nice. If you go for the additional insurance company, it always has the challenge that only a fraction of the insured person actually have this supplementary insurance where your product is tied to. And that sometimes makes it quite hard to actually address those people. That either leads to a way where you actually have to rely on the insurer to communicate it and actually to market your product or service, or if you do it yourself, you have to actually do it in a very smart way, because like in performance marketing, for example, you cannot just address CSS insured person who has this type of additional insurance. That filter doesn't exist, so you have to find other ways to actually get to it. Otherwise, you have a reimbursement, but you're not scaling your business. So that was really fast. We could have talked much longer about that, but those are the 4 elements which I found critical when you would like to get reimbursed. And yeah, having that said, thanks a lot, and looking forward to the discussion. So,
Okay, thank you very much, Richard. That was really, really insightful. And also really, I love how you can put things simply and shortly where other people can talk days and days and not come to that substance. So really good job. I have two questions for you. The first one is, when a startup just starts this process, what is the most important homework that you would say you have to prepare before you engage with insurance companies?
I think you have to have clarity actually on the 4 points I lined out. Yeah, this is actually critical homework. You need to have a clear answer to each of those 4 topics, at least a roadmap in order to go into that discussion.
Yeah, and roughly, just kind of Pi mal Daumen, how much money and what time is required from let's say, startup preparations, startup conversations, until you can have first reimbursement and widespread adoption of reimbursement based on your experience?
And this is very hard to answer in a general way. I mean, it needs to be reinvented in each country, and then even in Switzerland, it depends strongly on the model you're going for. I mean, if you tie it to an insurance product in the supplementary insurance, that can easily be 6 to 9 months. It can be 12 months. If you can map it to an existing position in the basic insurance, then you're immediately reimbursable. So there's no easy answer for that. In terms of resources, I mean, it depends which model are you following, but I think you need one person dedicated to it who invests significant time to prepare, and once then you are in the discussion with the insurer, you need someone to actually then always follows up. Because then most of the time you have like a short exchange, and then you wait, and then a short exchange. So you just need one person in your company who is always actually trying to get the maximum speed in this very slow and tedious process.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
But still, Pi mal Daumen, a number or a range. What's the 95 confidence interval for a digital health innovation from starting the process to having the first reimbursement to widespread reimbursement?
I'd say 9 months.
9 months. Yeah, that's fast. Right. So good job. Any questions to Richard from the audience?
Well, it depends on what the type of digital product or service you're having. For example, Clinico was a diagnostic tool, and it was CE marked in EU. So here the question was really, does it accurately measure the right things? Does it come up then with does it translate to the correct symptoms the same way actually a traditional psychiatrist would do? This will be, you usually compare it to the existing standard of care in terms of diagnostics. But it's actually a very individual, you have to see case for case what you're actually measuring. You could also measuring, for example, that someone is actually, the treatment time is shorter, or you actually lower readmission rates. You can also go into that area.
William, please.
No, there's no shortcut. I mean, you have likely to talk to each insurer. So I'd start with the large insurers because 80% is like the top 3, 4, 5 companies. I don't think it's so much actually to go by the associations like Cura Futura, Santé Suisse. I've also talked to them, but you really go to the individual large insurers. And then also what I haven't mentioned is you need to find a sponsor. It needs actually to have a strategic fit to the portfolio. They need to be willing to actually take digital health serious, and that's on top for the rest.
There's another question from David.
Sure. The first one I founded and built up. The second one actually I joined when it was a research project, so I haven't found it. So and your question was? You could repeat it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think the opportunity here is you should actually address a large problem or issue. First one was surgeries, too many surgeries, lots of publications, everyone knows it. So this is a problem worth addressing, but it's also an opportunity. And then the second one was mental health. Mental health is such a massive issue. It's actually the whole situation when you have it is actually bad, long waiting time, low quality or standard of care. So this was then also a situation where we have a big problem with a situation which is suboptimal.
Thank you very much. Richard, I think you will also be around at the apéro for further questions. So with that being said, please, Cordelia, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Valentin. Hello, everyone. My name is Cordelia, and I'm working at DCB, Diabetes Center Bern. I'm a dietitian by training and an economist by training, and I did work for the last 20 years in healthcare with big corporates, and since 2 years at DCB. When I started 2 years ago, my boss was asking me, what do you want me to put on your contract? And we were like, okay, innovation and communication, because we were 4 people starting, and now we are about 16 people now working for DCB. Innovation and communication means everything and nothing, and I will let you know in the next couple of minutes what innovation means at DCB. Voila. So we want to try to connect the dots around the world, and we did also change our logo this year from Diabetes Center Bern to the Global Center for Technology Innovation in Diabetes. And our chairman was like, hey, it's kind of ambitious, isn't it? And I think we managed to prove him, because we have an innovation challenge ongoing with 300 people on board and 37 countries represented. So we could prove him that we go global. So DCB, in a nutshell, it's a private foundation founded in 2017 by Willy Michel. He decided to spend 50 million of his private money to establish DCB. So we are very privileged and lucky to have this money and to follow his vision of making lives with diabetes easier. What does this mean? So we are a translational research institute. We have professorships from the University of Bern. They do research dedicated to diabetes technology innovation, and half of the money goes into those professorships over the next 12 years. So we have a cooperation with the University Hospital in Bern. It's not an exclusive cooperation, so we can work with whoever we want around the world, every clinics and every faculty we can collaborate. And we do clinical trials, we foster innovation, and also we support startups, and we involve the community with whatever we do. So, oh, sorry for that one. Here you can see, so summarized what does this mean. To the left you can see the academy, then the clinics, and to the right startups and ventures and rockets hopefully hitting the sky. And what we try to do is really involve the community, and that's also why the translation does not only go from the left to the right, but also from the right to the left. We really want to involve people living with diabetes and their beloved ones in our development of new technologies. So we try to identify unmet needs. We would like to follow trends, ideally shape trends in diabetes technology, and also work cross-industry and cross-discipline, so also leave this diabetes bubble. And the idea is really to get as much as possible ideas from the crowd, follow up, transfer them into projects, into proof of concepts, and into MVPs. And ideally we have a couple of rockets and that we can support those ideas with further services, expertise, access to patients via our clinical partners, and with funding. It's basically 3 pillars representing DCB. So DCB clinical trials. So we run our own and third-party clinical trials. This is also how we not make money, but get more money. We are non-profit, and for example, we have an industry partner right now, and we run a clinical trial for them, and with this money we can reinvest in our projects. So the more money we have, the more initiatives we can launch. DCB Innovation, it's this innovation challenge ongoing right now. We did an international outreach. We got 72 projects, and the question was, can your idea change glucose measurement forever? We are now at the top 5, and we will have our final pitches in the award ceremony after the boot camp now in October and November. So we're quite happy about all those great ideas, and we hope the winners can really make an impact in the market. The Startup Booster, so this is what I've mentioned before. We really want to follow up with every idea that we think there is potential, so not only be a fancy, funny, whatever, couple of months program, but also follow up with funding and services and our facilities. So we have an expert, we have a couple of experts and mentors and coaches on board. One of them is Valentin.
I will take the opportunity to ask you a few questions. The first one is, you having this global perspective, the VC hat, the research hat, the innovation hat, and the Kickstart hat, how many pitch decks do you see per year?
Yeah, I would say for DCB it's like hundreds so far, I would say. And all those pitch deck from the Kickstart HealthTech vertical this year. So I don't
Just
remember the
another 100 plus.
Yes, right.
My second question is, what is kind of the ratio of projects or topics you look at to the ones you actively engage with research? And what do you think, I know the fund is still young, but what do you think is roughly the ratio of projects you look at to the ones you fund?
Mm-hmm. But define, maybe we have to define what means funding. So we have kind of possibility to give a couple of thousand Swiss francs to just a good idea, and it already helps to bring the idea to the next level. Bigger investments, it's hard to mention a percentage. I think it's the classical percentage that make it into the market, so it's below 10%. Yeah. But I mean, for the Swiss venture fund, the DCB is kind of the first gate, and if we think a technology is interesting and the team is really cool and they really cover the classical startup requirements, and the technology is kind of feasible and it can make sense and they could make it, and so the chances of the percentage is higher that they make it for a funding by the Swiss Diabetes Venture Fund than if it's just a slide deck sent over from I don't know where.
Yep.
Yeah.
And do you think there's a recipe for success?
Oh, I think the one who knows that, or this secret of success, will be a very rich person. I don't have this recipe. What we look at very much is the team and the people behind, and really the classical rule that a great team with a maybe not perfect idea, chances are higher that they make it than maybe the perfect diabetes, whatever technology, with a team behind that just does not cover all the skills needed to hit the market. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the audience? Okay, don't be shy.
So Will, you mentioned you have the top 5 of 70 international projects.
Yeah.
Do you think one of them will actually live up to your ambition?
Yes, we are truly convinced that they can make an impact, because 3 of them already generate first revenues and have first customers. I mean, they're still kind of crystal ball. I don't know if they really make it in what dimension of success they will have, but it makes totally sense what they do, and we really trust that we can bring them to the next level with our expertise, with additional funding, with networks. So one company intends moving from where they are right now to Switzerland, and we can boost innovation in Switzerland as well. So I think there are a couple of cool success stories that we will, of course, leverage afterwards as well. Yeah, I will keep you posted. Any other question or remark or an idea around diabetes technology, let me know.